Good morning, students. I hope you have followed the dimensions of gravitational constant. Yesterday I gave you a task of finding dimensional constant, dimensions of gravitational constant, dimensions of gravitational constant. We have force of gravitation F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square, where m1 and m2 are masses and r is the distance of separation between the masses. R is distance of separation. You are asked to find out the dimensions of gravitational constant. So I gave you hint. From this equation we get equation for G equal to F r square divided by m1 m2. Now force is measured in Newton. So 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. 1 kg meter per second square. And R is measured in meter. And masses m1 and m2 are measured in kilograms. So if you write the unit of G now becomes SI unit of G, Newton meter square per kg square. F in Newton, R in meters and masses in kilograms. So substitute the value of Newton. Newton is equal to kg meter per second square into meter square divided by kg square in the denominator. So cancel kg. So if you cancel kg, then you are left with meter into meter square, becoming meter cube into per second square, and kg is in the denominator, per kg. So this becomes the SI unit of gravitational constant G, SI unit of gravitational constant G. Now you can very easily write, because these are the base units. The gravitational constant is expressed in the base units, fundamental units. Directly one can write the dimensions now. Therefore, dimensions of G. So this becomes the dimensional equation. Dimensions of gravitational constant G becomes meter cube L to the power 3. Mass to the power -1, m raised to -1. Dimension of mass is capital M, and time, dimension of time is t to the power -2. So this becomes the dimensional equation of gravitational constant. So this is the dimensions of gravitational constant. So this is one example. Now similarly, I can find out the dimensions of voltage. Second question, find the dimensions of voltage. Voltage means potential difference and dimensions of resistance. Resistance R. This is the question. Find the dimensions of voltage and dimensions of resistance. So you have learned in 10th standard the relation between voltage, resistance and current. V is equal to Ri. Okay, using that Ohm's law, V is equal to Ri, one can find out the dimensions of resistance R. So before that, let us find out the dimension of voltage. So for that we should know what is the definition of 1 volt. 1 volt is the potential or the work done per unit charge. If the work done per unit charge is 1 joule per coulomb, then the potential difference between those 2 points is 1 volt. I repeat, if 1 joule of work is done in driving a charge of 1 coulomb, then the potential difference becomes 1 volt. So using that definition, I can write the dimensions of voltage. 1 volt equal to 1 joule per coulomb. So 1 joule per coulomb. Now joule is the SI unit of energy and coulomb is the SI unit of charge. So I can write the SI unit of yes. Now using this, I can write joule in terms of base units. kg meter square per second square. How did I write directly? You see, 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton meter. 1 Newton of force multiplied by 1 meter of displacement gives us 1 joule of work done or 1 joule of energy. Okay, so 1 Newton into 1 meter gives us 1 joule. 1 Newton we know already, kg meter per second square. So I can write 1 joule as 1 kg meter per second square into meter. Kg meter per second square into meter. So thus it becomes kg meter square. Kg meter into meter, meter square. Kg meter square per second square. Kg meter square per second square. Thus kg meter square per second square divided by coulomb. Yes. Now you take this second square to the denominator. So this I can write it as kg meter square divided by coulomb second into second. Yes, coulomb second. Coulomb is the SI unit of charge. Second is the SI unit of time. Okay, I can write the dimension of mass as m here, dimension of length as L square, and dimension of charge. Charge is not, the coulomb is not the base unit, but what is the base unit of electric current? Electric current, you see. Electric current has SI unit ampere. 1 ampere is the SI unit of electric current. So 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb per second. You have learned in 10th standard. 1 coulomb per second is equal to 1 ampere. Therefore, 1 coulomb is equal to 1 ampere second. 1 coulomb is equal to 1 ampere second. So I can write now. One coulomb is equal to ampere second. So kg meter square, 1 coulomb is equal to ampere second. So write it. Ampere second into second square. So thus I can write in terms of base units as kg meter square per ampere second cube. Second cube, because 1 coulomb is equal to 1 ampere second. Therefore, I can write it as ampere into second cube. Thus, 1 volt I get in terms of base units. Base units as 1 kg meter square per ampere second cube. Now I can write what is the dimension of voltage. Therefore, dimension of potential difference. Dimension of potential or dimension of potential difference I can write now. You see, meter square, dimension of length square, kg, dimension of mass, and you see time, it is in the denominator. t to the power minus 3, and current is ampere raised to minus 1. So this becomes the dimensional formula or dimensional equation of potential difference. Dimensional equation of potential difference. Now we can write quickly the dimensions of resistance using this. So first part, we got the dimensions of voltage. L square, m to the power 1, t to the power minus 3, a to the power minus 1, where a is the ampere, SI unit of current, and its dimension is also square bracket a. These are the dimensions of potential difference. Now, in the same way, I can write the dimension of resistance using Ohm's law, which you have learned in 10th standard. Ohm's law. We have resistance R is equal to V by I. Resistance R is equal to V by I. We know the dimensions of V already. So we know the dimension of current, ampere. Directly we can find out dimension of resistance. So I am writing dimensional equation. So dimensional equation, dimensions of resistance, square bracket, don't forget this, is equal to dimensions of voltage divided by dimensions of current. So thus V by I. Substitute this value. So it becomes L square m t raised to minus 3 a raised to minus 1 whole divided by current. Current is ampere. So this we can simplify. So it becomes L to the power 2, m to the power 1, t to the power minus 3, a to the power minus 2. So this becomes the dimensions of resistance. So we know SI unit of resistance is ohm. So 1 ohm is expressed in terms of meter square, kg, per second cube, per ampere square. This is the dimension of resistance. So like this, whenever you are studying mechanics, then gravitation, then rotational motion, later on thermodynamics, simple harmonic motion, everywhere electricity, electrostatics, magnetism, magnetic effect of electric current, everywhere you will be coming across so many physical quantities. You are supposed to find out the dimensions of each physical quantity. That helps us to find out its SI unit in terms of base weights. Quickly look into this problem. We have completed the discussion on dimensions and dimension analysis, and now we are going to just see certain type of numericals that we come across from this topic. Here, a new unit of length is chosen such that the speed of light in vacuum is unity. Speed of light in vacuum, you know, it is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So that itself is taken as unity. That is unit of length. Unit of length. So what is the distance between the sun and earth in terms of this new unit? In terms of this new unit, if light takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds, if the light takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to cover this distance. Now new unit is chosen. You know the speed of light. Speed of light in vacuum is C equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. New length, new unit of length. See here, it is unit of length. Unit of length is speed multiplied by time t. Speed multiplied by time t. So the speed here is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 10 to the power of 8 meter. So you can call it as light second. You know, light year. Light year is the distance. It is the unit of distance. Light year is the unit of distance. Yes. Light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. So distance traveled by light in 1 second. So light second, we can call it as light second, or you can call it as LS, light second. If this is the case, in 1 second it travels 1 new unit, that is 1 light second. Therefore, in 8 minutes and 20 seconds, how many light second it travels? So you can choose light second as the new unit here. I think you got the point. Then distance covered. Distance covered in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Distance covered in 8 minutes and 20 seconds is equal to this distance covered in 1 second, light second by second, light second by second. I think you got the point. That is the unit of length. Light second by second into 8 minutes plus 20 seconds. What is the total number of seconds we calculate? So 8 minutes means 8 into 60 seconds. 8 into 60 seconds plus 20 seconds. 8 into 60 seconds plus 20 seconds. That gives us 8 minutes, like we can write here 8 minutes plus 20 seconds equal to 8 minutes means 8 into 60 plus 20 seconds. So these many seconds are there. 480 plus 20. So it becomes 500 seconds. So the distance covered by light in 500 seconds. That's what we are considering. So this becomes light second by second into 500 seconds. So this second cancels. So thus you are left with 500 light second. That is 500 units. So in terms of light second, if you define the distance between Earth and Sun, if this is Sun and if this is Earth, the distance between the Earth and Sun is now, in terms of this unit, is 500 light second. So this is how, with the help of the conversion, we can find out the new unit. I think you got it. Let us solve one more problem of the similar nature. Let us see this problem, another problem. A calorie has a unit of heat. A calorie is a unit of heat. Unit of heat. Calorie is a unit of heat, that is energy in transit. Heat means what? The energy that is transferred from hot body to the cold surrounding. The amount of energy transferred from hot body to the cold surroundings is called as heat. So that is called energy in transit. A calorie is a unit of heat and it equals 4.2 joules. 4.2 joules of energy, where joule is the SI unit of energy. And we know what is 1 joule. 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton meter. 1 joule is equal to 1 kg meter square per second square. 1 kg meter square per second square. It is given. Suppose we employ a new system of units. Suppose it is a new system of units wherein the unit of mass equals alpha kg. The new unit of mass equals to alpha kg. The new unit of length is equal to beta meter. The new unit of length is equal to beta meter. And the new unit of time equals gamma second. New unit of time is equal to gamma second. show that a calorie has a magnitude of 4.2 per alpha per beta square gamma square in terms of new units. So this is conversion of one system of unit into another system of unit. This is an example. Okay. What is given here? Let us write. We have 1 calorie equal to 4.2 joules. That is equal to 4.2 into kg. So you can write 4.2 kg meter square per second square. So this is given. This is given standard. Calorie is the SI unit. It is not SI unit. Joule is the SI unit of heat. Joule is the SI unit of energy. Calorie is the another unit of heat energy or unit of energy in general. So here a new unit of mass is given. One new unit of mass is equal is given. New unit of mass is given in terms of kg. That is alpha kg. Alpha kg is equal to 1 unit. Alpha kg is equal to 1 unit. I am writing it as 1 unit. Therefore, kg in terms of unit. What is kg in terms of unit? Alpha kg equal to 1 unit. Therefore, kg is equal to 1 by alpha. Kg is equal to 1 by alpha. For example, 100 kg is equal to 1 quintal. 100 kg is equal to 1 quintal. Just take an example. 100 kg is equal to 1 quintal. Therefore, 1 kg is equal to 100th of a quintal. 1000 kg. 1000 kg is equal to 1 ton. 1000 kg is equal to 1 ton. Second example. Therefore, 1 kg is equal to 1000th of a kg. Therefore, in general, if it is a new unit, that is alpha kg equal to 1 unit. Therefore, kg in terms of new unit, 1 kg is equal to 1 by alpha times that new unit. Similarly, one new unit of length in terms of meter, it is given beta meter is equal to 1. Beta times meter is equal to 1. Therefore, meter in terms of new unit, beta in terms of new unit, sorry, that is meter in terms of unit, meter becomes 1 by beta. So this you can write as beta raised to minus 1, alpha raised to minus 1. Call this as 1, this as 2. Now similarly, one new unit of time in terms of second. Gamma second. Alpha, beta, gamma are the alphabets of Greek language. Greek alphabets. Alpha, beta, gamma. Gamma second is equal to 1 unit. Therefore, second in terms of new unit. Second in terms of new unit. 1 second is equal to 1 by gamma times that new unit. Therefore, it becomes gamma raised to minus 1. We call this equation number 3. So, substitute these 1, 2, 3 in this main equation of calorie. Thus, in terms of new unit, 1 calorie now becomes 4.2 which is kg meter square per second square. Kg meter square per second square. You can write kg meter square per second square in this way. Now substitute the value of kg from this. Substitute the value of mass, that is meter, from this. Substitute the value of meter from this second equation. Substitute the value of second from this third equation. Using 1, 2, 3, you can write here. Using equations 1, equation 2 and equation 3, you can write this. Yes. So 4.2 times kg is equal to alpha raised to minus 1. Meter square is equal to meter raised to minus 1. So meter square becomes meter raised to minus 2 divided by 1 second is equal to gamma raised to minus 1. So gamma raised to minus 1 to the power 2. So it becomes gamma raised to minus 2. That is the denominator. Take this also to the numerator. Thus it becomes 4.2 times alpha raised to minus 1, beta raised to minus 2, gamma raised to 2. So thus we get the calorie, 1 calorie in terms of new unit, 4.2 alpha raised to minus 1, beta raised to minus 2, gamma raised to 2. So this is how we can convert one system of units into another system of units, even if it is unknown, with the help of general equations. Quickly look into these problems. These problems I am giving it for your practice. Two problems I am giving you. Problem number 1 and problem number 2. 1 and 2. So E, M, P and G denote energy, mass, momentum and gravitational constant respectively. Determine the dimensions of EP square divided by m raised to 5 G square. This is one physical quantity in the form of product and in the form of quotient with powers. You are asked to find out the dimensions of this quantity. Just substitute the dimensions of E, energy as we have substituted earlier, mass, momentum. What is momentum? Momentum P equal to product of mass and velocity. And this is mass and this is gravitational constant. Already we have found out the dimensions of gravitational constant. Substitute and find the total dimensions of this entire quantity. Second one, this is calculation of again relative error and percentage error. Relative error, or it is also called as fractional error. Relative error, or it is also called as fractional error. Both are same. In some books it is taken as fractional error. In some books it is taken as relative error. Okay, both are same. The force acting on an object of mass m traveling with the speed of velocity of v in a circular path of radius r is given by F equal to mv square by r. This is what we are going to call it as centripetal force. F equal to mv square by r. The measured values of mass, velocity and radius, they are given here. You are asked to find out the maximum fractional error or maximum relative error and thus find the percentage error in the calculation of force. I think you will do it. Take the screenshot and try these problems. Before I conclude, I would like to show you the instruments that we use in our laboratory. Look here. We are using different length measuring instruments. This is already you know that it is a meter scale. The meter scale has least count. Smallest possible division on this is 1 millimeter, 1/10 of a centimeter, as you all know. And this is another one. It is called vernier calipers. This is called vernier calipers. This is a meter scale. You can see meter scale which is having centimeters, and smallest division is 1 millimeter, that is 1/10 of a centimeter, 1/10 of a centimeter. This is called vernier calipers. This vernier calipers has got two scales. This vernier calipers has got two scales. One is the main scale, which is in millimeters and centimeters, and this is the one you can see here. This is the one which is called vernier scale, right? This is called vernier scale. It can be pushed apart and pushed in. It has got one pair of upper jaws, another pair of lower jaws, and this is a tail. This helps us to find out the internal diameter, external diameter. Suppose you want to find out the internal diameter of this small cylindrical opening. Just fix it inside and stretch it with the help of these two scales. With the help of these two scales, millimeter scale and the vernier scale. You see, vernier scale is having 10 divisions. The meter scale, millimeter scale is having centimeter scale. That is, yes. From this, the least count of this vernier calipers is 1 millimeter divided by 10. 1 mm divided by 10. 1/10 of a millimeter can be measured with the help of this device. It is called as vernier calipers. So, what is its least count? 0.1 millimeter. 0.1 millimeter. That becomes the resolution. It is also called as resolution. Millimeter, resolution, least count and resolution both are same. So I can write here least count of meter scale is 1 mm, 1 millimeter, that is 0.1 centimeter. Same least count of vernier calipers. Just now I told you can measure 1/10 of a millimeter. That is what we call as resolution or limit of resolution or least count. 1/10 of a millimeter becomes 0.1 millimeter or 0.01 centimeter. 0.01 centimeter. Now I will show you one more interesting device. This is called as screw gauge. This is called as screw gauge. It has got a screw here. You can see the screw. Screw can be moved out and moved in so that you can measure the thickness. You can measure the thickness. One can measure the thickness. You can see here. One can measure the thickness. Thickness of a wooden plate. Thickness of a metal plate. Thickness of a thin wire. Thickness of a wire can be found out. So this is having still smaller resolution. Look here. This is having this is called screw gauge. Least count of screw gauge. You see, it is having again millimeter scale as the main scale, and it has got one more circular scale. One more circular scale. When you come to the laboratory, I will show you, and we are going to do the experiments also using this as well as vernier calipers. So when we turn this one complete rotation, when we turn this completely, one full complete rotation, it covers 1 millimeter of horizontal distance. So it has got main scale. It has got main scale as well as head scale. This is called as head scale, which is having the screw. So this is the screw which joins here to the stud, and here we are going to keep the thing whose thickness is to be measured. So this is having still a smaller least count, that is 1 millimeter divided by 100. 1 millimeter divided by 100. So it becomes 0.01 millimeter. 0.01 millimeter means 1/1000th of a centimeter. 1/1000th of a centimeter. That's how it helps us to find the thin, that is the thickness of a very thin wire. In the same way, one more instrument is there. It is called as a spirometer. This spirometer is used to find the radius of curvature of a given convex surface or concave surface. So this is also having two scales. One vertical scale, you can see, one vertical scale, another one circular scale. So this is having three supports, and again the resolution or limit of resolution or least count of this, least count of spherometer. This is also same as that of screw gauge. 1 mm, smallest scale on the main scale is 1 mm, and number of divisions on the circular scale, is 100. So again it is giving us 0.01 mm as the least count. That is equal to 1,000th of a centimeter. To this accuracy, one can measure the thickness, one can measure the distances or the lengths. So these are the different instruments which we are going to use in the laboratory, and they are having different least counts. Least count of meter scale, as you know, 1 millimeter, 0.1 centimeter. Least count of vernier calipers, that is the resolution of vernier calipers, 1/10 of a millimeter, 0.01 centimeter. Least count of a screw gauge, 1/100th of a millimeter, that is 1,000th of a centimeter. That is, you can write it as 0.01. How do you write? 0.001 centimeter in terms of decimals. So this is also the same, 0.001 centimeter. So this is the least count of the spherometer. So these things you will come to know what are the uses once you come to the laboratory to do the experiments. So I have completed this topic, and whatever the doubts you have, please ask me in the next session. Okay? And in the unit test, I am going to ask, it is not actually unit test, it is a monthly test. I am going to ask questions from motion in a plane. Motion in a plane. One topic is enough. I think that is from the month of first week of August. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.